Hello and welcome to Now Spinning Magazine for the latest edition of the review show. This is where I go through some recent items, records, CDs, box sets that have arrived here at Now Spinning Magazine Towers during the last month. In this particular show, I have Katherine Priddy. This album has been out for a year, but since I last spoke to you all, I've become a really big fan of Katherine's, and Sue Aston is going to also join me when we look at this album. Another band that's new to me is Aeon Empire. I think they're from Czechoslovakia. They're a real traditional heavy metal rock band, absolutely superb stuff. Also have the Melvins on the show. Love this really sludgy metal punky rock. Shed 7, the covers album, which is a album from Record Store Day, which I should have mentioned before, but I thought I'd put it in the review show. An album by Jake Stevenson and Friends, Space is High. This is a very special album, which I'll tell you all about. Carton. This is the Warner Brothers anthology, 6 albums on this 3 CD set, absolutely fantastic. Lux Terminus and Cinder, new prog. PFM, the Manticore Years. This is a repressing of a box set that's been out for a while on Esoteric Recordings, but I've only just got hold of a copy. And Solstice and Clan, more prog. Yet more prog with the Flower Kings and Love. And finally, Harken, Live Forms, new double live vinyl album, also available on, I think it's 3 CD and Blu-ray as well. So, pull up a seat, get your favourite drink, and here we go. So, the first album I want to look at is Harken. This is the double vinyl version. As I say, it's also available as a 3 CD and Blu-ray edition, which in the set, obviously that's longer than 2 albums here, and this is quite short when you think it just basically covers the Fauna album with their most recent output. So let's just talk about the vinyl one, because I don't have the CD one, although I think I'm going to be going in that direction, because obviously 3 CDs, it's a, 3.5 hour gig, which covers their entire back catalogue. One of my favourite albums, which you can see on the floor behind me by Harken, is The Mountain, which is stunning. But what this really pulls together is just how strong the Fauna album is for it to be put out as a 2 vinyl set, just basically that album. This is absolutely amazing progressive metal. It's melodic, there's lots of light and shade. I mean, the one track, Elephants Never Forget, is so gentle giant in many ways, which is good. And other aspects, the riffage and everything, the playing, is just stunning. The vocals, the textures, absolutely great. And the other thing I want to say, for those of you who might be thinking of getting the vinyl, is Inside Out Records really at the moment are at the top of the tree in quality for pressings, and one of the reasons is because, as you know, at Now Spinning Magazine, poly-lined inner sleeves are a big thing to me. I just feel that this should be standard issue for anyone who buys records. You shouldn't have to go and get them yourself. It should be included. And Inside Out Records and everything that I've got from them in recent times, that's how they arrive. And when they arrive through the post, the records are in the middle of the gatefold, so they don't break through the edge of the covers, because obviously coming through the post, they're jumbled about, and that tends to be what happens when vinyl arrives here. But Inside Out seem to know exactly what they're doing. It's a fantastic pressing, great artwork, pictures, all the rest of it, but highly recommended. Of course, if you're a Harken fan, how can you not want the Blu-ray so you can watch this concert with all the extra tracks from the other albums as well? But that is stunning. I'll read something out from this if I've got something. It was filmed by Paul Green Productions. If you do have the Blu-ray, it's in stereo and 5.1, and I'm a huge fan of 5.1, so it's something I'm really looking forward to. And the band comments on the release saying the Evening with Harken tour across North America and Europe was without doubt one of their favourite tours, showcasing 3 hours of music from the entire discography of the band, and their latest record, Fauna, performed in full, which is basically what is on, as I said, the 2 vinyl set. Right, we're staying with prog, but we're turning down the guitars a tad. And the next one is the Flower Kings. Now, with the previous band, Harken, I've got quite a few of those, primarily on CD and DVD sets, apart from the Mountain. But the next band, the Flower Kings, who have done 17 albums, this is the first one that I've owned. And it's Love, which I love. This is the thing I think about as a music fan who's over the age of 21. The fact is there's so much music out there, and I see myself as someone who knows a fair bit about music, but there are still pockets of great, fantastic music and bands where I've not scratched the surface. And sometimes it can be, and this for a lot of you will probably think about this, is where you find a band and you tentatively think, if I go down this route, I'm going to go down a rabbit hole where potentially I'm going to buy 17 albums, because that's what we're like, those of us that love physical media. And I have to say that this is superb. And in the Now Spinning Magazine Facebook group, this has been posted a fair bit already, and it's stunning stuff. Again, it's inside out music, so it's in polyline sleeves. It's got all the lyrics. It's a fantastic silent flat pressing. Inside out, as I've said, do this so well. The bit of blurb that says it's their 17th studio album, and they're trying to capture the spirit of the late 60s and early 70s progressive rock. A period is all about mellotrons, moogs, phasing, flanging, grand compositions. And so when I was listening to it, I thought, yeah, I can feel the warmth. I genuinely love the artwork. I can feel the warmth of the Genesis and Yes coming in, but also in a much more contemporary feel is bands like Transatlantic, Neil Morse, anything with him. It's got that kind of real uplifting vocal arrangements, but the keyboard solos and the guitar solo, the guitar sound is absolutely stunning and beautiful. Absolutely love this. Great guitar riffs, great vocals. This is my first album by this band, and I've absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it. So if you are a fan of the Flower Kings, what should I listen to next? I'm open to any suggestion, because with a band that's got 17 albums, do I just go roll back one at a time, or should I go somewhere in particular? But this is highly recommended if you love progressive rock and the bands I've mentioned. But again, I'm mentioning Transatlantic because I know them quite well. Big train bands like this, I'll mention them again soon. But this kind of whole plethora of kind of more, there is the Tangent. So this to me just fits into my musical taste like a glove. That's the Flower Kings and Love, out now, Inside Out Records. Great pressings, all of them. The next one is CD. Again, we're staying with prog for the time being, and it's Clan and Solstice. This is another one, isn't it, where I'm going to have to admit, I made some notes on this as well. And I'm going to read a quote from Steven Wilson to make me realise that there's so much out there. He says, "I've loved them then, and I love them now. It's a life-affirming, joyous sound," says Steven Wilson. It is. This is Solstice's 8th studio album, 8th, and the first one I've got. Clan completes the most recent phase of Solstice's 40-plus year career. 40 years this band has been around. That means that they arrived when I was in my 20s. And I just didn't know. I knew the name, but it's taken me till now to hear this. And this is... I mentioned Big Big Train, didn't I? Just briefly with the Flower Kings. But Big Big Train I know very well because I love that band. And I love the band because of the diverse instrumentation, the violins, the female vocals, and the storytelling. This has all of that. It's absolutely wonderful. This is Andy Glass on guitar. God, is he good. It's not so much, he's a great player, but it's his tone. I love the guitar tone on this and the expressive nature of how the music. I love guitarists who feel as if they're listening to the words, and not just listening to the words, but the meaning of the words, and that reflects in the notes that they pick and how they play. Jess Holland on vocals, Jenny Newman fiddle, she's brilliant. Peter Helmsley on drums, Steve McNeil on keys, Robin Phillips bass, Ebony Buckle on harmonies, Diane Crutcher on harmonies, and Rick Burns on harmonies. Female vocals are just sublime. It's beautiful. There's only 6 tracks on it, 5 actually. Firefly, Life, Plank, Fripper, and Twin Peaks. And it's just a beautiful album. And again, if you love Solstice, I can't see why you wouldn't like this. And if you're like me, you're new to this band, for me, this is a great way to start. This is my doorway album for this music. But again, for those of you who've been around a while and following them for a while, I watch some videos as well, and they just seem so uplifting, and it's the kind of music that I just find myself drawn to in the current, state of the world. But this is a lovely record. So that's Solstice and Clan. Next is rolling back to the 70s, and it's the Manticore studio albums from PFM, an Italian progressive rock band that I remember seeing in the music papers back in the day, and I never bought them. Because in the 70s, I only had enough money to buy about 1 album a month. And there was just too much going on in the 70s. There's so many albums. When I've done videos recently on 1972 and 71, there was literally a classic album coming out every week, and I just couldn't keep up. So some obscure band from Italy releasing progressive rock instrumental albums, it's too much. They were another band, a lot of prog rock bands in the time could be found up trees in the early 70s. It was quite common. Rock bands were usually found in the woods on the ground. Maybe prog bands were hiding from the rock bands. But there's only a leaflet in it. This is a time when esoteric was going through its phase of doing fold-out leaflets rather than booklets. I'm glad they've moved away from that. And it contains 4 albums of absolutely beautiful Genesis pastoral English flavoured rock, although they're from Italy. So that's being repressed, and it's available for a great price now. Are we moving away from prog yet? We're not. Oh gosh, this next one was a surprise. I think Scott Lade from the Prog Corner commented when I posted it in the community tab on the YouTube channel, saying, great choice. Brand new to me. Absolutely brand new to me. Who is it? It's Lux Terminus, and the album is called Cinder. This completely knocked me sideways. This is Lux Terminus is Vikram A. Shankar on keyboards, Matthew Kirshner on drums, and Brian Kraft on bass. That's basically it. Backing vocals on Jupiter. There's some vocals on Catalyst. It's mainly instrumental. Saxophone as well, but primarily this is an instrumental album driven by a keyboard player with such vision. How would I describe this? It came across, I didn't know what to expect, especially the way it started. I was thinking, it's a bit of, really classic jazz fusion going on here. And then it goes into absolutely cinematic world music, oriental feel to it. And then it's got really hard progressive rock. It's all keyboards. It sounds obviously very metallic and heavy in places, but it's absolutely amazing. Also in on this album. There's some guest artists as well. There's Ross Jennings of Harken is on vocals, Esper of Sleep Token on vocals, and also John Pars on Threads of Fate on vocals as well, and Joaquin McCumbee on saxophone. But it's absolutely amazing. If you want to listen to some instrumental prog that takes you places you're not expecting, and you listen to it with each rotation, you'll experience new things that you didn't hear the first time round. I love music that I just know when you play something, sometimes you just think, I'm going to enjoy this. Not only am I going to enjoy this now, but I'm going to enjoy this when I'm playing this the 25th time, because it's just going to just keep giving stuff to me. There is so much to take on that the senses literally can't keep up. And I don't mean it's over busy. I mean, it covers so many different textures and flavors. But this really shows me that progressive rock or jazz fusion, whatever you want to call it, music that's pushing the boundaries, there's still stuff out there to explore. I mean, this is not your typical artwork for an album like this. I mean, I found this, what's this going to be like? I know this is not the first album, so if you're a fan of this musician and this band, you knew what to expect. But to me, completely took me by surprise, but well worth listening. Go and stream that, everyone. It's brilliant. I mentioned the word jazz there, so that kind of segues into where I'm heading next. And it's Larry Carton. What a guitarist. This is a lovely little 3 CD set, literally 3.5 hours of music on here, 6 albums, which Larry did for the Warner Brothers period. I'm going to show you what's inside this set, because I think it's worth it. So I'll just give you a little unboxing just for this one. This is Larry Carton, the Warner Brothers anthology, featuring tracks from the albums Larry Carton, Strikes Twice, Sleepwalk, Friends, Fingerprints, Deep Into It, plus bonus tracks by Foreplay and Mike Post. It's a triple CD set, as you can see here, with a booklet down one side, with all the tracks on the reverse. The booklet has a great essay in it, which is very impressive, lots to read. I would have preferred, as I go through this, I can't criticise the essay. It's brilliant, by A. Scott Galloway. What I would have probably have liked is where you can see here all the track listings. I would have liked to have seen a list of the musicians that was easier to track, rather than trying to go through the essay to try and find out who played on what, because there's so many musicians. Obviously Michael McDonald's on here. Obviously one of my great surprises, my ignorance in this artist really, was the fact that he was behind the Hill Street Blues soundtrack, the theme, which I absolutely love. But there's some wonderful fusion on here, and over 3.5 hours of absolutely superb music. That is Larry Carton, the Warner Brothers anthology, out on Robin Songs, which is part of Cherry Red. That's a look inside this little set. I think it's fantastic. 3.5 hours of music, 6 albums across the Warner Brothers years. I've got some of Larry's stuff when he was in the Crusaders. I love that kind of jazz funk stuff. Obviously he also played with Steely Dan, Joni Mitchell, and there's some extra tracks bolted on here, as I mentioned before. And also Hill Street Blues, the fact he did the soundtrack to that. And there, of course, this is the full version with the extended guitar work out. But there's some wonderful jazz fusion. This is well worth it. If you want to get Larry Carton's back catalogue from Warner's, this is well recommended. Now, we're moving from jazz into more ambient music. And this is another artist that was new to me. But me and Sue have been playing this absolutely constantly. This is from Fruits de Mer Records, the Sendelica people, a label I absolutely love. They have also, for this release, got inner sleeves for vinyl, which, as I've said in this show already, absolutely gives them extra marks. Absolutely love that. The other bit of information, if I can find it, because this is important, because I didn't know about this artist. It's Jake Stevenson. And Jake is somebody who's no longer with us. And judging from the photograph within the press release, he looks like someone who would spend time in Glastonbury, and he certainly did. And this is a guy who was so prolific as a recording artist, releasing music under dozens of aliases, a steady stream of albums in the 90s, from ambient to trance, dub, bass, drum and bass. He's done wonderful music. Obviously, he did move to Glastonbury, etc. And what they've done here, 20 years on, thanks to his brother Silas and to his other of his friends, is they've gone through all his back catalogue and remastered and found his most ambient and chilled out tunes for a double CD and a triple CD. And in a way, if I say Tangerine Dream, I feel like I'm being a bit ignorant in a way, just because of the music that I listen to like that, because it's not really Tangerine Dream in a way, but it is hypnotic. It is the kind of music that I can just play over and over again. On side 4, there is a track on that, which does kind of rev it up a bit, but only in a kind of rhythmic pattern. And it's very, very hypnotic. If I can find out where that is in the cover. Can I? Yes, I can. Optica, which is 10 minutes long. All the tracks are about 10 minutes, 8 minutes long. But the sequencing, Space is High, is absolutely an incredible album by an artist that's no longer with us. And I also want to say that it says it on the cover, I think, somewhere. Yeah. From each sale of this vinyl album and on the triple CD, some money will go to the Epilepsy Research Institute in the UK, because that is sadly how Jake Stevenson died, was from epileptic fit. And so the money from the royalties from this goes to a really good cause. But the music is just marvellous. Honestly, me and Sue have been playing this over and over again, and I'm very tempted to get the 3 CD version, because obviously that's going to contain almost as much music all over again. But it really is fantastic stuff. It says here, double album, 3 CD set of his most ambient and chilled out music. So that is Jake Stevenson and Friends. Right, where are we now? Now we're moving into more guitar-driven music, and this is an album I should have really covered around the Record Store Day release, but it got kind of filed away with so much else was going on. This is Shed 7, a band I've covered before on the channel, and this is a special release because it's called The Covers. And as you can imagine, it's cover versions of songs that really mean a lot to the band. And I Will Follow by U2, Cemetery Gates by the Smiths, You Can't Do That, the Beatles, Queen Bitch, David Bowie, which is a superb version, The One I Love, REM, Dead Flowers, the Rolling Stones, and New England, Billy Bragg, which is superb, and Planet Earth by Duran Duran, which is live from the BBC Piano Room, which is fantastic. And that's a great release from Cooking Vinyl Records. 3 to go. The Melvins, who this is their 28th studio album? Have I got that right? It's the first one that I've owned by them, and it is. I was expecting, because this is an angry band, very angry, but it's superb and energizing and really. Doesn't matter. It just made me feel great, to be quite honest. It's metallic. It's got really sludgy, heavy metal riffs that just drag, feeling like they're dragging the knuckles along the ground. And the next minute it's speeding up. The next minute it's picking you up by the collar and throwing you around the room. There's some fantastic stuff. And some of the tracks are really long as well. Short Hair with a Wig. I think it's nearly 11 minutes long. And some great songs. Vomit of Clarity. You know what this is going to be like, those of you who know the Melvins. But to me, I think it's a superb record. If you just want something that's going to, get you from A to B, it's a wonderful album. And that's out now. Melvins, Thunderball. Great stuff. I do absolutely love. Some of the riffs are fantastic on that. Now, moving away from really kind of sludgy metal punk-driven music to more traditional classic rock, trad metal, I guess. And this is Aeon Empire. When you use the phrase classic rock, which is a phrase I don't really like very much because it sounds like something that's already happened from the past and you're looking backwards. And if you say traditional metal, then that also sounds like something that's already happened and been done and everyone knows all about it. But it's the kind of rock music that I grew up with. And so, but that could equally mean it's the kind of rock music where I will go, oh yeah, I know what this is going to do. I've heard this before. Yeah, I've heard that kind of opening screams. I know what this is, but I don't. All it does is tick boxes and make me think, oh, this is good. Oh, wow. Oh, gosh, this is my kind of rock music. And that's exactly what it did. It opens with All of Your Dreams. I think the band are from Czechoslovakia. It's great driving riffs, wonderful production. But why I like it is the variety of music on it. Everything is connected. So it's not like you think, oh, okay, I've got this. They're going to be a metal type band. And now they've suddenly changed direction and that one doesn't quite fit in, or they have so many ballads together. They don't. Every single song sounds like it's them. Everything flows together. The sequencing is perfect. Certain songs like Stallion and Gloom have got the kind of riffs that straight away I thought, oh, wow, I just got to turn this up. It's the kind of riffs that just make me feel fantastic. It's a certain guitar sound, the vocals, the phrasing, this certain type of music where I just thought this is going to be great. And this has been a what am I trying to think? A discovery, that's it. This is a discovery, and the lyrics have been written by a guy who's actually someone who subscribes to the channel, who's literally, these lyrics were just chosen by this band to be used for the band, if I've got that right. And I just love it. Set a flame in this cold world, fell in love, lies and falls, waiting in the rain. I won't be able to pronounce the guys' names, but it's basically guitar, vocals, guitars, bass, and drums. The production is fantastic. Great songs. If you're looking for some new rock music to listen to, then give this a listen. You'll be able to stream it, but support the guys. Buy a CD. It's stunning. And as I say, my favourite tracks are Stallion, which is track number 6, and obviously 8, the way that riff comes in. Got me. Right, so now we've got one album left. And for this one, as I come to the end of the show, I'm going to be joined by Sue Aston. And here she is, and we're going to be talking about Katherine Priddy. And just like magic, here is Sue to join me to review the last album in this month's review show. And the artist is Katherine Priddy, who I featured on the channel before with the Live in the Union Chapel double album, which is a Record Store Day release. And although this album, The Pendulum Swing, isn't a 2025 issue, it came out in 2024, I felt I wanted to include it because this is an artist that both me and Sue have really, really fallen in love with her music.
Absolutely.
I mean, what are your thoughts on Katherine?
Oh, wow.
When you first heard her?
I just absolutely love her music. I love her songs. I love her voice. She's a fellow Brummie as well, so I love that about her. And she also performs with George Boomsma, whose music I absolutely love as well.
Yeah, and we featured
perfect.
George's album on the channel, but it's absolutely heartfelt and
yes,
so gentle, isn't it? And so different.
Yeah, gentle but so moving, and her voice is just.
And isn't that the most beautiful vinyl colour of all time?
Isn't it gorgeous?
It says light green, but it's teal, isn't it? It's teal.
I think it's teal, which is one of my favourite colours. It's ticking all the boxes.
Yeah, but musically, it's just fantastic. The lyrics are very heartfelt, especially the one, "The Father of Two," which is a lovely song. And which ones did you have? You had some that were your favourites as well.
Yeah, my absolute favourite is "Does She Hold You Like I Did?" So beautiful. I obviously heard the live version of that first, and I just couldn't stop thinking about it. And then we heard the studio version. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah, stunning.
Yeah.
And there's a great violinist on there as well.
Yes, an amazing violin player. And he also plays guitar as well.
He does.
Harry Forsing-Smith,
Yeah.
I believe his name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I imagine that Katherine Priddy is probably a new artist to you, to say it's folk, some people will just automatically pigeonhole it as a certain
It's
type
acoustic,
of it's
isn't it,
acoustic.
I would
It's
say.
acoustic music,
Yeah.
heartfelt, with the songs and lyrics that are from the heart. Is the best way of putting it across.
And it's just
really.
absolutely timeless, isn't it? It's just this kind of music that will just be forever a classic.
Yeah, it's almost whispered and gentle, isn't it? The way
I'm
it
getting
just,
goosebumps just thinking about
the way
it.
it comes across the speakers. Well, I think this is her second album, and to say
Yeah.
the live one, which you've already featured, it's out on Cooking Vinyl Records, and it's really, really
Beautiful.
beautiful and recommended.
I would love to see her live, actually.
Yes,
Because
well,
we're not massive concert goers anymore.
no, that's very
My
true.
pyjamas are on at like 5 p.m. But I would absolutely love to hear her and George and Harry play. 'Cause you just know it'd be so emotional.
Yeah, and in fact, this review show has actually been like the day in the life. I mean, we started off with heavy progressive metal, we've gone through jazz and everything, and now we've ended up at night time with a gentle way to just settle down
Yeah.
with your mugaholics. But thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in and all of your support for Now Spinning Magazine. Remember, if you become a patron or a YouTube member, you get access to the private Facebook group on Facebook and WhatsApp. You can also come along to the twice monthly Now Spinning Arms virtual pub. But music really is the healer and the doctor, so keep spinning those discs. Stay safe, everybody, and we'll see you again in the future
Very soon. Get your words right.
Thank you.